Hi, my name is Kevin House. I'm Chief Education Architect with School of Humanity. My work with School of Humanities mainly being focused on to date looking at the architecture for the overall education provision. With a small team we've evolved what we call Human Literacies curriculum, which covers 6 domains of literacy that we feel are important for all human beings to have in their future learning. The mission is really to try and create a learning experience that equips learners for the future. It allows for higher levels of personalisation. It has an interdisciplinary approach to the learning journey for those learners, but it also gives them opportunities to solve real-world problems and work with industry, tertiary, as well as faculty within the school. I think for me, the really important thing about School of Humanities' mission and vision is that it wants to bring a future-focused, innovative approach with high levels of personalisation to as wide an audience as possible. So in the longer term, trying to look at getting into low-income environments at low cost, access to high-quality private education. Human Literacies Framework is 6 domains, 6 areas that we believe lead to the development of young people that become humane and responsible members of a global society. The reason we chose literacies, I feel, is really important because it's moving beyond many of the movements that are seen globally around competency or mastery-based education. I think literacies we've made our own because literacies, rather than implying competence, I think it goes further. But in a high school context, I think sometimes the suggestion of mastery is perhaps going further than where a learner is at that point in their learning journey. So I think for us, a literacy implies fluency, and fluency can be at different levels across different domains within the 6 literacies. And so it equips students to develop those fluencies into masteries in their later life. But I think it goes beyond the notion of a simple competency. The learners have the opportunity to work independently or within teams, in synchronous environments, in face-to-face environments, and in asynchronous environments. This, I think, is really important because it equips them for the future of work, and many of the different ways in which we work today in a hybrid environment or flexible environments allows for us to develop a range of dispositional traits, if you like, that allow us to function well in teams, face-to-face or online, to work independently, synchronously or asynchronously or face-to-face. And so I think many of those aspects of the different environments that students experience is again future-proofing them as contributors to society for the future, probably far in excess of what you would get in a current face-to-face industrial model of education. A day in the life of a student at the School of Humanity is busy, in a simple word, and busy in a number of different ways. You know, referencing the notion of the potential of a student starting off the day perhaps with a synchronous team exercise with the rest of the cohort who are existing across time zones in different areas of the globe. Flipping then perhaps into some asynchronous independent study, or potentially focusing on some specific disciplinary learning using an online tool that's been curated by School of Humanity. And then pushing forward maybe with face-to-face get-togethers with students in their own geographical location where we can make that happen. And then allowing for the students to work through challenges which are often done as a team, or opportunities to do other challenges as an independent learner and develop skills. The learning model and pedagogy really evolves from the notion of the 6 domains of the human literacies. I think the pedagogy really focuses quite heavily on developing the relational aspects of what it is to be part of a learning community. I think the notion that we find in many industrial models of education, for example, focuses on a quite narrow set of academic outcomes. Potentially, particularly in the high school, potentially to the detriment of the relational And I think it's really important to remember that the transitional point from adolescence into adulthood or early adulthood, I think we often do not pay enough attention to the notion that having deep and meaningful relationships with significant adults that work with you in a variety of different contexts is actually a really important set of skills building, because we often focus on the ability to show or display knowledge or skills in a very narrow set of academic areas. And I think when we talk about future of work and future skills, I think many of those dispositional traits and soft skills are the things that we're really trying to focus on amplifying and accelerating in School of Humanity. Why do we learn the way we do in School of Humanity? I think the important reason behind that is the notion of the humane in the human. So every aspect of the learning journey for the students, the learning community that evolves for both them, for faculty, but also for the parent communities as well, is focusing on that notion of the humane. So if you think about what does it mean to be humane, it doesn't just mean having knowledge and skills or dispositional traits, it means having deep, well-articulated values about empathy, about looking out for one another, about trying to understand one another's perspectives. Many of those aspects are not particularly well articulated in the geopolitics of the current era that we are all experiencing, and I think that's why for me a School of Humanity approach to education with its focus on developing the humane is a very needed curriculum, very needed experience and a very needed type of school at this point in time.